previous 4 videos in this series I did a year ago have recently had a little resurgency, so I'm back to milk this content cow one last time, and then we are done. Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. I am Max, and this is my experiences working in a Games Workshop retail store. I worked there for 18 months when I was at university. A little recap for those that haven't caught the first ones. There was a manager there. They hired me as their cover guy, so like minimum wage and only giving hours when the manager was off, running it on my own. They immediately quit. Games Workshop handed me the keys, and I had no training, no experience running a store like this, and they left me doing it for way too long. I was 18, 19, and totally in charge of a Games Workshop on my own for way too long. But I was quite good at it, if I do say so myself. If you're here to see the bit about Games Workshop lying to me, that is something that has actually happened very recently. That is something that's happened within the last few months. So I'll get into that at the end. Before I get into the rest of this video, here's a little word from the sponsor of this, Warmag. Warmag provide a magnetic system for storing your miniatures, which in my opinion is much better than the standard foam case. They provide a bunch of these colourful different boxes, and I went with red and black to represent the Lizard of Doom channel colours. They also provide a bunch of base sheets for those boxes. I went with these red deserty ones for my Space Marine army. They fit perfectly in the bottom of these boxes, and then you can magnetize your models straight to them. They have 2 types of magnet, the standard one which fits around the outside of the base rim, but the more exciting ones to me are these premium magnets. They have a foam lining on the bottom, and they are sized to fit perfectly within your Games Workshop infantry bases. They fit snug in there, smooth and flush, can't even see them. Perfect. Then you just plop them in, and they don't move at all. So I actually store my own army in this. This footage was from my unpaid review, so I'll link that in the description as well. I did that before they started sponsoring me. Check them out at warmag.com. They've even got a bunch of sweet bundle deals on there, so you can get a bit of a discount too. That's warmag.com. Check the link in the description now. So first question. How was it dancing around the subject if you knew there was a better brush, paint or accessory other than Games Workshop? I wasn't too corporately brainwashed, so I literally didn't. If there was a better product, I told people, but you gotta remember that this was 2014, somewhere around then, just after the end times had happened and when AOS was new. It was around then. So we didn't have the resources we do now, like fabulous YouTube channels giving us all the tips and hints, or the big gaming stores stocking all the different paints. So in the place where I worked, there was a Games Workshop and there was one other shop. This is in a British city, and the other shop only stocked Citadel paints and brushes and stuff, and Army Painter. And back in those days, Army Painter primer went on in a coat that is thicker than your mum's ass. And cut. Army Painter spray paints went on so thick as a base coat, they were like covering your model in a thick layer of butter before you even did anything, and you lost all your detail, and the coverage from the actual paints was not great. Army Painter has improved a lot over the years, but personally I much prefer Vallejo, Pro Acryl and AK. I'm an affiliate with Pro Acryl. There's a link down there if you order Pro Acryl stuff. That would help me, thank you. But yeah, back to the question. I didn't. I told people squarely, like, Games Workshop brushes are decent because they are, but expensive. There are other options out there if you're doing this on a budget, or if you just want to get it now out of convenience. These brushes are quite good. But if there's a better option, then go for that. I still use Games Workshop's plastic glue. I find the consistency is really good, but I use Gorilla Gel Glue, and I would recommend that to anyone. Even if I still work at the store, use that super glue, not the stupid little tubes that Games Workshop sell. Bad. Tubes bad. I think that's a sound way to run your shop, especially seeing as it's not my money that they're spending elsewhere. Be honest with people. Like the paints, Games Workshop red, pretty good. Skin tones, pretty good. Greens, yellows, pretty bad. There are better greens and yellows out there. Find them. Vallejo and AK and Pro Acryl. Next question. Did you ever have a customer/player coming into the store feeling so at home and confident that they started talking to other customers, trying to sell them things, getting them to buy the right stuff, maybe even bullying other customers into specific stuff so that you had to intervene. Yes, a really fanatic Skaven player. Sorry if it's you and I'm calling you out and you just watched a video on YouTube like, hey, that's that guy who used to run Games Workshop. You, not a Skaven player who would pop out for a cigarette out the front, and as he was going out, if new people were coming in, he would kind of stand in front of them and say, Skaven is the only correct army. If you're not playing Skaven, you're playing nothing. Have a look at the rats, they're over there. Oh, God, mate. And I've literally had new people who are quite shy turn around and leave. They turned around in front of him and walked out. This hobby can be quite neurodiverse. I myself have ADHD and probably a few touches of other little things. But there are a lot of people in nerddom in general with quite bad social anxiety. If you do things like this, you may think you're helping, and that it works both ways because there's quite a lot of people who don't understand social cues. So if you're doing this, that may be an issue that you need to check yourself on, because you may be making people feel uncomfortable. This isn't me calling you out specifically, but just think, do I do that? If you're on the receiving end of this, that's hard. If you're socially anxious, that's hard. I think you're just gonna go, okay, and kind of move away from them. It's okay to blank people if you're socially anxious. Don't worry about what they think. I know that's hard to say if someone's socially anxious, but try not to pay attention to that person. This is a great hobby and there are 1,000 choices. There is no wrong choice for which army you want to go for. Rule of cool over rule of anything. That person who was an avid Skaven fan, I had to step in and say, look mate, I appreciate that you're passionate about Skaven. If you find someone else looking at the Skaven thinking they're cool, by all means big them up, but please don't be cornering people as soon as they come into the store. It's making people uncomfortable. I had to do something because it was turning people away from the store, and imagine if that was their first time and this is something they could have really enjoyed for all their life and they got turned away that once and never came back. Sad. I think that's the kindest way that I could have handled that, and it's how I did handle that. Third question. Did you work at Games Workshop before or after they changed from a hobby space just to a racial space? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and and I think that's meant to be retail unit. So I got in at an interesting point where it was in the middle. The previous manager ran it very much as the retail unit. They wouldn't even let people sit down in the store for 5 minutes unless they bought something, including people's grandparents while the grandchildren were looking at stuff. Sorry, you can't sit. No one else is sitting there. I understand if you've got a very busy store, people are looking for space to paint and stuff, and you could only sit there and paint on the day if you'd bought it then. So you couldn't buy a model at the start of the week and come back throughout the week to paint it up in store. Arsehole way to run a shop. When I somehow took control of the shop, I reverted that a bit. I had games night. I would be open later on a Thursday to let people play games in the shop after work. Anyone who wanted to come in and paint anything Games Workshop, sound. So yeah, I tried my best to revert it to like a gaming and painting space as best I could during the time that I was there. What happened after, I cannot speak for, but while I was there, it was a friendly place to go and experience the kind of culture of this hobby. And regional management never knew because they never checked up on me. I think they checked up on me once during my whole time there. Next question, what was the weirdest, most outrageous reason someone was fired? So that manager I said that wouldn't let people sit down actually disappeared. He just stopped coming into work and the shop was shut for weeks. When we finally got into the shop, we realised that it was about Christmas time, so, you know, big takings for G-dubs at that time. All of the money was missing from the safe. Uh-oh. And they hadn't shown up, so obviously sacked. I don't know if this counts as them violently quitting or getting sacked, but they no longer worked there, and quite rightfully so. I guess Games Workshop are a big corporate conglomerate these days, but theft is theft, and therefore wrong. So that was a bit just crazy that happened. Like, why did you think you wouldn't get caught? you're the only guy with a key. They had to get regional down from head office because no one else had a key. Who's the only person with a key? It's you. It's you. Right, next question. Stupid man. Stupid man. Oh, this is quite a good one. What was your strategy or stratagem to get prospective customers into the game when they wandered curiously into your store? With as many Warhammer stores I'd wandered into over the years, I'm pretty sure I'd have been playing decades earlier than I did had a store manager taken the time to explain things to me. So, I'm going to run you through the standard Games Workshop staff conversation that happens in every shop. And now when I go into a new shop, sometimes I get recognised, which is cool. Shout out Cardiff staff. But this is the conversation. And if you are Games Workshop current staff watching, please stop doing this. I can parrot it back as you do it. So you go in, you get greeted. Hello, what brings you in today? Oh, I'm just looking. Sound. I used to say hello to people as they come in. I wouldn't necessarily jump on them and say, I would just say, you're right, mate, as they came in. Acknowledge someone. It's nice. It's common decency. And then the conversation with staff goes, are you working on anything at the moment, or what are you working on at the moment? If you look like you know what you're looking for. Then if you say something, like say, I don't know, Skaven, the next bit will either be, how are you painting them up at the moment? Or it will be, ooh, what do you need next for that army? Now the second one of those is way too pushy and salesy. Ditch that. How are you painting up at the moment is quite nice, because quite a lot of people don't get, the opportunity to share with other people who actually care how they're painting their army that they're proud of. So a little conversation about that is nice. I would ask people this as well. I would leave people there though. I would leave that conversation there. I wouldn't push what do you need next on them. I'd say if you need any help, like choosing paints or talking about models or rules or whatever, just come on and chat to me. I'm just over there. That's it. That's what I would do to seasoned players who I could see were specifically looking for something or kind of knew what they were looking at. Whereas newbies who come in and wander around, you know they're new because they don't pick anything up. That's how you know, because they're not comfortable enough yet to pick stuff up, look at the back, try and look what bits are in the box. You know they're new. So I would greet them as they came in, just like I would anyone else. And then I would let them have a bit of a wander, maybe get to the back of the shop, start coming back. And I would be usually near the front of the shop and say to them something like, have you been into a Games Workshop before? Then I would say something like, what brought you in? And they'd say, usually it would be the cool models in the case. So Games Workshop stuff, that's very important. You need cool stuff in that case. And then I would say, are you into painting or gaming at all? And we'd follow from there. If they said one or the other, I would then go down that route. So if they said painting, I said, do you want to paint a free model? You could sit here and paint it with me and I'll run you through the basics. It's free. And quite often saying it's free is just like an instant yes. Annoying when a parent dumps their kid on you as childcare where they go around town for an hour. I'm not a babysitter. I'm here to help you paint. If they said gaming, I'd run them through a game. There's the starter sets are always on display in Games Workshop. So what I would do is say, do you want to be goodies or baddies? And then if they chose goodies, they were the Space Marines in the 40k set or Stormcast in the fantasy set. If they said baddies, the other way around. And then I would pick units that were very equally matched, but with a slight lean in their favour, because you want them to have fun in their first experience and smash your head in. You want them to enjoy their first experience of Warhammer. What I would do is I would get 2 units, put them, if they were shooting units, give them enough space to have a round of shooting before we got into it. And then we would have a little game and I would describe as we were going, like I'd roll my armor save and be like, oh no, you've blown my brains out. Splat everywhere. Right, I'm going to punch you back and see if I can knock your head off. And like get kind of like jokey aggressive with it and make jokes and hopefully they enjoyed that first little interaction. Maybe they don't buy anything then. I would never force it on people because like I said in previous ones, you had starter kit sales to hit. I'd say if you like these models, that kit's there. If you want to look at getting into it, there's a 2-player kit, so that's really good for you and a friend. Or if you just want a choice of armies, that's over there. Let me know if you need anything more and we have a chat about it. That is how to do it, my friend. You spend time with someone, teaching them how to do the basics of painting. They can then take that away. YouTube has fantastic resources these days, and that we didn't have then. So quite often I'd get that person come back and ask me how to paint something. Quite frankly, I was very new back into the hobby at that point, so I'd give the best advice possible. And if they were into the gaming side of it and they did pick something up, I said, if you want to play with this stuff, I do gaming nights on a Thursday till 7. So if you want to show up, then there's a chance to show up then. So I've had comments on the previous video saying, you did a painting tutorial for me, thanks for the addiction to plastic crack, or you got my sister into the hobby was one of them. So you can see that spending the time with someone to actually explain it to them and help them learn and give them attention is valuable. This new retail space from the previous question that Games Workshop are doing is bad for the hobby, it's bad for the community, and it's bad for the kind of sense of belonging. You get lots of teenagers who aren't into like sports or kind of mainstream activities who come and hang out in your shop. They don't spend a lot. They don't have a lot. They buy what they can with what they've got, and they slowly build up an army. These people are important to the stores, and it's important to give them somewhere to go, because as they grow up, from a corporate point of view, they will be investing more and more and more as their budget goes up. It's a long-term game, and at the moment, Games Workshop is playing a very short-term game. Right, I have waffled quite a lot here. Let me get on to the lying bit. How Games Workshop have recently lied to my face over email, to my digital face. So I am trying to grow this channel, and hopefully I can carve out a little area on YouTube for me and my community. Come and join the Discord. Exciting things going to be going on in there soon. Oh, actually, right now we've got a 40k campaign going that you can play in from anywhere in the world. So hop in there and at someone called Bugrit. I'll put their name on screen now. They're a Patreon. They run the campaign in there. So if you're just having games of 40k, you can provide your score from those games anywhere in the world to this campaign and help boost your side. So interesting. I have a little community, and I'm trying to grow this channel, carve out a little space for us on the internet. The long-term goal of this channel is 100k subs. That's long-term. I'm not expecting to be the next Squidmar. It ain't never going to happen, but I just want to be comfortable enough to make a living off this. So part of growing this channel, I wanted to get on Games Workshop's press list. It exists. They send people new releases before they come out. Squidmar I just mentioned, they do videos on models that they're painting up for release day, because they get them about like a week in advance, have a week to paint them up, then put the video out when they're allowed on release day of those models. They do this all the time. Other channels like Tabletop Time, like about 6 months ago, I believe, they got on the list to get sent the models for free before they got released, and they were really happy with that, as you would be. So I thought, as I grow this channel, I want to know the goals for getting on that list. I'm more than likely not big enough for it now, for sure. But I want to know the kind of requirements they have in a channel to do that. So I sent them this email. Dear Games Workshop team, I hope this email finds you well. Kiss ass. My name is Max, and I run the YouTube channel Lizard of Doom, where I create content focused on Warhammer and other miniature painting and modelling projects. My channel has a growing community of enthusiasts who are always eager to learn about the latest releases and updates from Games Workshop. I am writing to inquire about the requirements to be added to your press list for new releases. Being on your press list would greatly enhance my ability to provide timely and accurate content to my audience, helping to promote your products and engage the community. Could you please provide me with the necessary steps and criteria to be considered for inclusion on your press list? I'm eager to collaborate and showcase your latest offerings to my viewers. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to your response. Best regards, Max, Lizard of Doom, link to the channel. See how kind of corporate and nice that was? And I wasn't, calling them mum fat or whatever I normally do on here. That was a sound business email, I believe. A little bit kiss-assy, might go a long way. The response from the Games Workshop press department was this lie. Hello, thank you for your email. Unfortunately, we do not operate a press list. Kind regards, the marketing team. I emailed them back saying, no, you do. There's a list where people get all of the models early, and you have even held events at Games Workshop HQ, like when you released the contrast paints, where you invited content creators there to try them out first. So there is a press list. I was just interested to know how to get on it. Ghosted. So not only have they lied to me and just said it doesn't exist, they've now ghosted me. I don't know if it's due to this channel being small. You could help that out by subscribing. Thank you very much. Or because I've made 4 videos exposing what it's really like to work in one of their shops. That may be the case, but have the cojones, have the testicles, James Workshop, to tell me that. Don't just ghost me like a coward. Be gone with you, James. So what am I going to do about this? Compete with them. Now, I'm never expecting to be able to compete with them on a major level, but I've had something on the back burner for a while that my Patreons know that I've been putting a lot of time into recently. I'm keeping them up to date, so if you want to keep up to date with this project, it's a secret project. Not anymore, because I'm telling you about it now. I am developing my own miniatures game. I know the area, just like Warhammer YouTube, is very overcrowded, especially with games such as mine, but it's worth giving it a little try. If you like to support indie game development within this space, come and check out the Patreon. I'm posting regular updates there, and I'm also about to go with beta testing in the Discord in the next week or 2. It is a gang-based skirmish game set in modern-day fantasy Britain. The setting is something I came up with alongside my friend Joe. Hello, Joe. But I am now working on this as a solo project from there. It is looking interesting. I've spent a lot of time doing character concept art. Here is a concept. Here is another concept. So this is a game that's meant to be played on 3x3, very tight terrain, weaving through alleys and stuff. The beta testing is going to be interesting because I have no idea if it works yet, but I think I'm getting there. So if you would like to be involved with that, then join the Discord. I will be putting out the rules very soon. The next video I make will probably be on this subject because I've spent so much time putting into this. I might as well make a video to tell you about it properly. I'm never going to be able to compete with Games Workshop, but I may be able to do something along the lines of the size of a company like Goblin King Games and Moonstone. I do in fact have a meeting with Tom, the founder of all that, to discuss the kind of pipeline to bring this to market. My meeting's in December with him. Tom, if you see this, hello. That's very exciting, and it's very kind of him to give me his time to kind of run me through how he did it so I can get in the market too. It's very nice of him. Good lad. But I've waffled enough, so check out the sponsor of this, War Mag. Like I said, I do use them myself. My Space Marine army is in this case, and I have had 0 problems with it. Absolutely 0. Those premium magnets are chef's kiss. So get some of them if you've got some infantry that need magnetizing. Perfect. The base plates, lovely selection for different army themes or just generic ones for anything. So have a little look at them. Patreon, if you want to help me support this game, there's going to be a lot of outgoings as I make this game before I even bring it to Kickstarter. I'm talking thousands, which is going to be my own money. So help! And also check out the merch store. I got some spooky t-shirts on there, Frankenstein one and a Nosferatu one. I put them on there for Halloween. Not sure how much longer I'm going to keep them in the web store, so go and check them out now. Leave a like for the like throne and a comment for that algorithm gods. Remember, it is not a pile of shame, it is a pile of future fun. See you next time, kids. Peace.